Next up, at UFC Baku, we have the featured prelim of the evening. We have Farman Hasanov taking on Eric Nolan. Farman Hasanov, undefeated in his career at 5-0. Is this correct? No, he's not 5-0 in his career.
No, is he 10-1 or 10 or something?
Who wrote this shit?
Let's have a look here.
Who did these graphics? I wrote he's 4-1 in his last 5, making his UFC debut, but the graphic says 5-0.
No, it's say 5-0. Why did I think he was 10 or something?
His career, he's 5-0 in his career?
Yeah, apparently he went pro in 2020.
Yeah, see, dude, I never fuck these graphics up. These graphics are always.
Bro, you just doubted yourself. What
these graphics.
You gotta wait.
Like my bets.
If you're gonna gaslight people, you gotta wait a certain amount of time before you tell them what the truth is. You know, you can't just next slide be like, that never happened. You know,
much like
excuse me, the graphics are correct. You know,
they're locked in. Farman Hasanov, undefeated in his career, 5-0, making that UFC debut, taking on Eric Nolan, 8-4 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that short notice UFC debut loss. Farman Hasanov, strong, aggressive guy. He does everything at 100%. He's throwing every strike like it's a finishing combination. He's running through every takedown like he's in the tournament finals of a wrestling match. He's scrambling his ass off. He's looking for submissions. He's literally doing everything possible to finish fights. He can be hit, though, and he's a little bit reckless while chasing those finishes, but he's well-rounded, and he knows when to initiate wrestling versus when to strike. Taking on Eric Nolan, traditionally a welterweight. He did make that UFC debut at middleweight on 4 days' notice, and now he's back down to where he should be. Style-wise, well-rounded guy. He can strike, he can grapple, does a pretty good job pressing forward, throwing out jabs, high cooks, maintaining defense. But he can be low volume, and he balls up when strikes come his way, but he's got big power. He is very composed. He's coming off that debut loss to Baisangor Susurkayev. I'm surprised this line is close, and it's starting to widen a little bit. But when I broke this down the other day, I placed a bet immediately. Because as far as I can tell, Farman dominates this fight. He's got more powerful hands. He's got the wrestling upside. He just moves forward. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's faster. He's more dangerous. The only actual concern is he might gas out trying to finish Nolan. But honestly, if Nolan is in any position that's not super safe, I think he can be finished. I think we end up in a situation where Farman comes forward, gets Eric in a bad way, and gets the job done. He has only fought absolute bums, so it's a little bit of a crapshoot here if Farman's as good as we think he is or if he's just fighting literal nobodies. Farman's the pick. I actually bet on him at minus 155. What the hell was that? I bet on him at minus 155. He's now minus 175. You know, we're starting to creep on the territory where it's like, I mean, he hasn't fought anybody yet, so I'm not sure. But Farman is the pick. What do you think, Sammy?
So first of all, addressing what that was, what my chair is, it's on a swivel, right? So I can lean
Your
back,
fat ass fucking crack that chair.
I can. No.
Oh,
but I have
my God.
Listen. I have a bolt that I switch in, and the bolt switches in, and then it doesn't swivel. You know, so that's what happened there. Just keeping you informed. You know,
Sure.
Answering your questions. You know, giving you the love and tender concern that you need to know what every sound that's going on with my microphone
That bolt is fighting for its life. Who do you think wins this fight?
Brother, you know, have you ever heard the saying, the pot calling the kettle black here? Because we don't want to go down that path, brother. You know,
never
I can get a scale out right now. You know, we can go toe for toe if you want.
Get a scale and a ruler for both height and length.
Details. Now, Farman Hasanov in this fight against Eric Nolan, I think the only thing that's keeping this line in check is not level of experience. It's not, hey, Eric Nolan is amazing. He's fought levels of competition that are amazing. What it is that people are seeing Baisangor Susurkayev, which dangerously looks a lot like me, by the way. Baisangor Susurkayev, it could be my brother. But Baisangor Susurkayev is Khamzat Chimaev's teammate. You know, that's his claim to fame. Khamzat Chimaev's teammate. He fought again within like a week. It was like 4 days or something.
Who is Khamzat's teammate?
Baisangor Susurkayev.
He's at American Top Team.
That he trained with Khamzat, and that was kind of like his whole thing. That was the whole reason why.
Right. Well,
he
he's
was
at
famous
American Top Team and has been. So
you want to fact check me? You can try. But
everybody is trained with Khamzat for a minute. But go ahead. Sorry.
But Baisangor Susurkayev, that was his whole thing. They were talking about this is the teammate of him. He's come on the Contender Series, and they even showed Khamzat's reaction to him getting a contract and all the rest of it. So that was kind of his claim to fame. But being a teammate of somebody means literally nothing. And I say that because Fighters get bodies in all the time. They need people to work with. That doesn't mean that you're on Khamzat's level. That doesn't mean you're getting the same looks from the coaches. It doesn't mean that you have the same level of freestyle wrestling going into it. And Bisengar Susakaev, for me, has been a little bit of a letdown, and he hasn't even lost a fight, because what I witnessed from him.
Why are we talking about that guy?
Wait, and you'll hear it, because Eric Nolan is living off of the hype of surviving and giving some problems to Bisengar Susakaev while he had his hands down in that fight and ate some shots of him. Now, he got wobbled towards the end of the first round. Jesus, it looks like I'm directly under the sun. What is going on here with the light?
Lower those lights.
Jesus Christ. I caught a glimpse of myself. I was like, holy fucking
because you're so pale. Yeah, dude, the sun's just bouncing off you like a mirror. And how many dogs do you have?
2. Can you hear
you held them. That's why. No,
I got 2 of them. I got 2. No, yeah. Now, the thing about that is that Eric Nolan is living entirely off of the fact that he did something and then, still eventually lost and succumbed to losing to Bisengar Susakaev. Now, the thing about all of that is that I say this because, what are you giggling about?
They're like, Bet Sam is glowing. Bet Sam needs to go outside.
I definitely do need to go outside, but it's pissing down with rain and we're in the middle of winter, so it's not going to do shit for me. Now, Bisengar Susakaev is one of those guys where he kind of fights down to the level of competition. He still won all of his fights, but he made Eric Nolan look like he's a formidable opponent. Still ultimately succumbed and lost to him. So Farman Hasanov here is, what are we giggling about here?
Succumbed? All right, continue.
Yeah.
You said succumbed.
Jesus.
Guy has 2 glasses of wine. It's fucking 2 Angelos, but one of them's stupid.
Farman Hasanov, if you go watch his regional tape, it might be against bums. But if this dude gets 1 takedown on Eric Nolan, I think it's fucking lights out for him. His ground and pound is phenomenal. Now, I don't know shit about grappling from a personal standpoint, but what does Angelo know? This guy has been grappling for a lifetime. You can see the top control. Once Farman gets to his spot, he looks heavy on top. He has hellacious ground and pound. I think he just needs 1 takedown and 1 good position, and it's game over for Eric Nolan. So for that reason, I think Farman Hasanov at -175, probably one of the greatest plays on this card. And my only regret for not placing him in the Slam of the Week parlay, which you can access by signing up to WeWantPicks.com, code BetSam for 10% off, is the only thing that held me back from this is I didn't do the regional tape on this fight prior to doing the tape on the other 2 fights. Otherwise, he would have been in the Slam of the Week. I really do like what I've seen from Farman, and I think he finds a finish here in under 1.5 rounds because, like I say, 1 takedown, I think it's game over. Eric Nolan hasn't impressed me. That's as far as I'll go. And also, that other fight being at 185 might have even allowed him to withstand damage for a little bit longer.
Yeah, against Farman Hasanov because he didn't cut all the weight.
Exactly. Like when we saw Ige. We saw Ige short notice against Diego Lopez, but people forget, man, when it's short notice, it's also short notice for the fighter who's scheduled to take on that opponent. So it's not essentially easier just being the guy that was already scheduled for a fight. You're prepared for a certain style and all the rest of it. You're given this task. You're also on short notice to take it, but you've now got the pressure of you're the fighter on here. You're supposed to win this fight. So for Eric Nolan, he came in that fight. So what? I lose. I'm in the UFC now. It's a win-win situation for him. Now it's getting serious. It's in his weight class. He has to show up or he's going to get trampled and cut from the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the same page again. We got there, very different paths. You talked about everybody other than the fighters on the screen, but we ended up in the same place. Farman, I think, gets it done. I bet on him straight up money line. That is not something I typically do. If I money line anybody, it's usually like an underdog or somebody like that's right there. But I saw the odds. It was -150 or -155 at the time. I was like, dude, I think he beats the shit out of Eric Nolan. So I went ahead, threw down half a unit. But if you want to check out all the other bets, not just from me, but Bet Sam, Kunith, the rest of the crew, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, it is only $10 for an entire month. Full access to this week, UFC 329, UFC Oklahoma, and UFC Abu Dhabi.